Speedway Report is a production of ZTV. Some short tracks are beginning to reopen under strict guidelines. NASCAR and the NHRA continue to mold what they can say for schedules for the rest of the year. iRacing marches on and continues to rock the boat. We've got all this and more coming up. Welcome to Speedway Report, Monday, May the 4th, 2020. From the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina, I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. We continue testing here with the new Facebook Live version. Lord knows if you're even seeing this. We had some difficulties right at airtime with the Facebook feed, so we went for it, and hopefully I'm not going to let up the throttle, and this is being broadcast just fine. I'll know in about 30 minutes. But I hope you're all staying safe and well and healthy with the coronavirus pandemic. Happy Star Wars Day to everybody. I know there's a whole lot of fans out there that I really like, and really Luke out there. So hello to all of you. We're going to jump to the Speedway Report victory lane lap and then jump right over it, because I'm tired of talking about iRacing results as actual races. They're not. They're video games, and I'm going to talk about that in my bullet points here shortly. So when real racing returns, I'll give real results. Not now. I was trying to give them the winners of the iRacing. It was a nice little distraction. It was fun. I'm not going to continue reporting on them as actual results. However, I'm going to talk about them in general tonight. Let's start with COVID-19 and the update. I'm very close to Charlotte, North Carolina, here in the Lake Norman area, where NASCAR is a huge part of the economy and local industry. So as I look over to the calendar, stage left on Friday, May the 8th, that concludes our stay-at-home order here in North Carolina. Race teams are back to work here as part of essential businesses as they get ready for the Darlington weekend and the Charlotte race weeks here. We're going to run about 9 races in about, I think it's 7 races in 10 days, something like that, between Darlington and Charlotte, North Carolina. But Saturday, May 9th, begins what we call Phase 1. I was talking to a friend of mine up in Pennsylvania earlier today, and Pennsylvania is governed a little bit like a traffic light, a red, yellow, and green situation. So it's probably something similar to what we have here in North Carolina called Phase 1. But we can go on and on about that. Basically, some businesses can reopen, social distancing, masks recommended, and a limited amount of people in there. And it's not all businesses, it's some businesses. Wherever you're watching with us, you got to check with your local authorities. But I give you a little bit of a flavor because we are so close to World of NASCAR. This past weekend, some events on the short tracks were held with non-spectators. There are a few here and there around the country. No spectators, limited number of entries, limited pit crew members, and spacing between the haulers in the pit area. Cherokee Speedway in Gaffney, South Carolina gave it a whirl and determined it's not really feasible to run races at their tracks without fans in the grandstands. They need the fans to come in. They said something to the effect of, if you can run it without the ticket prices, the ticket revenue, as well as the concession stands, they just can't do it. They tried it. They don't want to take a bloodbath, but they do want to keep in the spirit of racing and keep racing as long as they can. They gave it a whirl, no fans. Not for them. I see that. You can't just keep dumping money and losing your shirt every single weekend. Unlike NASCAR's National Series, as we have the countdown to Darlington on May 17th for the Cup Series, which will be run at Darlington Raceway without any fans in the grandstand. So how can they do it and Cherokee Speedway can? Those in the know, we know the actual TV money revenue. The race will be broadcast live on Fox, and the TV revenue is more than they need to pay the purse. We are, as we get further along here a little bit, we're going to run no fans here in Charlotte as well. I am unsure of June. NASCAR basically has not announced that yet. As we get later into the summer and fall, if we can continue racing, there's a lot of events that will keep their date and spot on the schedule. So I'm expecting an announcement here, not shortly tonight, but keep an eye out in the near future, and we'll have whatever relevant news is next week here on Speedway Report. We're expecting the Cup Series to probably go from 36 races to 33 races. What we are expecting to lose is one road course event, one short track event, and one intermediate track as they lose dates. Like, you can take your pick, but common sense is likely Sears Point may not have an event this year, and it's just a guess. That's not official, but you think with the travel time hauling back and forth to the West Coast, when we're trying to get as many events as we can in, and we can do 2 or 3 a week if we're here in the Southeast a little bit more, it just may not be possible with the rest of the calendar year. NASCAR is expecting to end the season in November in Phoenix on schedule, like they predicted. We'll see. This is still a changing event hour to hour. Each day we open up, things could change. Hopefully things continue to get better and improve. They are in many areas of the country, not everywhere. They're highly populated areas are still being impacted quite heavily. However, NASCAR's schedule really doesn't take them close to those populated areas. So as far as racing goes, maybe we can make some ground here. But I wish all of you in the populated areas stay safe and, do what you're supposed to do and take care of each other. Now, in short track racing, Madera Speedway in California is about to enter what they call Phase 1 in California. Without going, it's very confusing, I'll admit, but without going line by line in all this, I can tell you what California is going to do is that Madera Speedway, beginning with this weekend, will allow testing with up to 10 participants on the ground. I'm reading that as 10 cars will be able to come practice for the day. A limited number of crew members will be allowed per car. We'll have face covering. We'll have social distancing. Phase 2 for California will increase the participant number, but still testing. Phase 3, racing with a limited number of staff and competitors, still the closed grandstands. Phase 4 and 5 for California, increase the number of fans and increase the number of competitors slowly. You're talking several weeks in between each phase. Here in North Carolina, we have a 3-phase reopening planned, and each one lifts the restrictions. However, each one is also contingent on the first reopening being successful. In other words, if we say we reopen our North Carolina here to a limited number of folks, limited number of businesses with social distancing, as we come up on this weekend, 2 or 3 weeks later, we see a market increase in COVID-19 cases, we could retract those openings. Hopefully, we're looking good now. Hopefully, we will continue to look good and we can get back to racing and business. Now, the NHRA has postponed their events through July. You're looking for about an August 1st resumption, and they're going to go with an 18-race schedule. They already competed 2 events, so they're looking to get 16 events in August, September, October, and November. A lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces. Local government, what's happening with the health, local speedways, sponsors, television packages, same thing that NASCAR has to deal with, as well as their short tracks, minus the TV. But you've got your local government and health requirements first. There's money involved, sponsorships, logistics, just so much is moving right now. I don't envy any of these track operators or these series directors right now, trying to put a schedule together on the fly. Right now through, let's see, gosh, I'm going to go, it was already postponed through May. So events from the NHRA postponed in June and July. The races in Gainesville, Florida, Houston, Texas, Bristol, Tennessee, Norwalk, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, Denver, Colorado, and Sonoma, California. With my response that Sonoma was probably, maybe my guess, going to be dropped from the Cup Series. I certainly wish they would get the NHRA event in. Your guess is as good as mine. We'll follow this every single week and keep you up to date right here on Speedway Report. Now, who would have thought Scott McLaughlin was such a very good IndyCar racer through iRacing. He's won a couple of races, and he won this weekend's event at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, this caused a lot of uproar and debate on social media. Social media. Anyway, they were critical of Simon Pagenaud and Lando Norris taking each other out. Maybe it was Pagenaud. A lot of people pointing a finger at him, as well as Santino Ferrucci's last lap attempt to win the race, causing big crashes. You would have thought that this was an actual race with the amount of uproar that people have over the video game aspect of it. There were cries that iRacing is not a video game, it's a simulation. Folks, it's a video game. I'll quote it. You can defend it all you want. Talk about this, talk about that. I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm not saying it doesn't take a great deal of skill to be good at it. You've got screens and equipment that you've paid thousands of dollars for. Good for you. It's still a video game. Now, I think people had their feathers ruffled because they wanted the drivers to take this immensely seriously, because we've got no other racing happening right now. So let's at least pretend to take this for real. There are sponsorship involved. There's TV networks that jumped on board to actually televise these things. So I think there was a level of expectation from the drivers that they would treat this as a real race, even though, yeah, it's a video game. Well, it's not a real race. It is a video game. You can wreck cars and get a reset button. It doesn't cost any money. There's no cars going back to the shop. Nobody has a threat of injury or getting hurt in this, or except possibly carpal tunnel. But it's just not going to happen. And it's the uproar over a video game. And if the iRacing purists want to hop on there and lame base me, go ahead. iRacing's a video game, period. It is. I've heard this. Yeah, but the internet was full of it. And they listed all these things, these wonderful things about iRacing, which were all actually true, is how much talent it takes and how much dedication and how much money is involved in the TV networks. Bottom line, iRacing, absolutely just still a video game. Period. I gave the results in the victory lane lap because I was toying with it a little bit. We had nothing else to talk about. I'd rather just skip it. It's not real racing. I don't want to give credence to these things as real racing. I am getting press releases about winners and losers and results of a video game. We've crossed over a line here somewhere, and it's not a good one. Nothing is like the real thing. I like the real thing. I like racing. I'm not much for video games. If you like video games, good for you. But the venom spewed at Santino Ferrucci and Simon Pagenaud over there driving like it was a real race. It's a video game. Chill, people. Relax. It is just iRacing. Now, we lost a couple of true racers since I spoke to you last. One of them was a short track legend, the legendary Freddie Fryer, Southern late model champion, superstar in every sense of the word when it comes to short track racing. Two-time winner of the Snowball Derby in Pensacola, Florida, 79 and 81, I believe. Freddie Fryer is just a legendary short tracker. I read about him as a little kid, and he's still making history and money and numbers to this day as a car builder. And gosh, he's just one of those guys where I read about all the time as a little kid in the classes of Mike Alexander, Jody Ridley, Gary Ballou, and just those Southern super late model drivers, which seemed like a universe today to a little kid growing up in New England. And just the racing papers came to my mailbox every single week, and I had to wait that long to find out who won the races the week before. When it comes to the southern region and the southeast and those pavement late model stars, Freddie Fryer was, like in the Northeast Modifieds, a Bugsy Stevens or a Ronnie Bouchard. He was just one of the greats of southern late model racing, and we lost him this past weekend. So prayers to his folks, everybody with his family. Rest in peace, Freddie. And this one hit close to home, too. We got to say goodbye and rest in peace to Barb Santucci. She was an amazing supporter of this show right here in Speedway Report. She was amazing supporter of the predecessor title to this show, Motor Week Live, which started all on Racers Reunion Radio. Bill Pratt and John Bockelman host Drag List Live right after this show. They've hosted a drag racing talk show right after me for years and years and years. Barb was such a big part of their show as far as promoting it, scheduling guests and interviews. She was largely a pit crew member of that show. She wasn't big on the spotlight, the microphone, the camera. That was for Bill and for John, but Barb was a huge factor in promoting and putting that show together. Her and I have messaged many times, never had the pleasure of meeting her in person, but through Racers Reunion chat boards, texting, social media messaging, her and I kept in touch. We did a lot together behind the scenes, but with a Drag List Live, Bill, John, and this show here in Speedway Report. She was a huge part of Racers Reunion Radio, where all these shows launched. Jerry Smith's show, Stars Radio, everything that Jeff Gilder had. Remember the Goat Rodeo and Racing Through History. So many good times and so much fun. And Barb was a big part of everything at Racers Reunion. We've all grown up. We're all out on our own. We're all producing our own shows and broadcasting them where I am now. But that was about 10 years ago. I started with Racers Reunion. This show was born in the form of another title, but Barb Santucci was right there for the entire time supporting me as a rookie broadcaster online when we called this internet radio because the term podcast had not been invented yet in 2010. Barb's such a big part of Racers Reunion Radio and now with Drag List Live. Barb, we will miss you. Rest in peace to you. And I'm going to tip our hat to Motor Week Illustrated and Dave Despain and crown our Racer of the Week. No drama or time wasting here for a build-up. I'm giving it to Barb Santucci, racer through and through. I hang left more than I turn straight in the auto racing world, but Barb Santucci, we will miss you and have all the respect in the world for Bill Pratt and John Bockelman as they carry on, have their heads all high, and as true racers, we just continue racing. If we're writing stories, we continue to write. If we're building cars or going to the racetrack, we just continue to do that. And Bill and John will be up right after me with Drag List Live, like racers do. We go to the next event and keep on going. In between our broadcasts, you can keep up with the world of auto racing with SpeedwayReport.com. This show you're watching right now and all of our past ones are archived right there. So click on SpeedwayReport.com. On Facebook, we're at Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, or on the Racers Reunion page. On Twitter, I'm at the social media I'm talking about here. You want to hook up with me on Twitter, I'm at Speedway Pat and at Speedway Report. If you also go to racersreunion.com, whole lot of auto racing history there. You want to cruise through the photos and the stories. Oh gosh, hundreds, thousands of pages of motorsports history is archived at racersreunion.com. You can catch this show in the forum if you're looking for a past one. We did upload last week's to YouTube. With the Facebook video, Lord knows, we're still working our way through this. I don't have equipment that works right because of the virus. When Best Buy opens back up, I will take care of it. But a big thanks to everyone in the Facebook feed tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in and chiming in. I'll get back to all of you shortly. And I want to thank all of the military, past and present, for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for all of us. To all of the men and the women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, you take care of yourselves and come home soon. And so emphasized in this time of this health crisis, a special salute to the school teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You have been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and you can follow me on Twitter at SpeedwayPat. Now, as I talked about, if you're on Facebook Live right now, head on over to the Drag Racing List page, because at the top of the hour, Drag List Live is coming up next. You can join Bill Pratt and John Bockelman with Drag Racing Talk. We will miss you, Barb. And I'll be back here in 1 week, Monday, May 11th. We'll have the latest update on where scheduling is and the industry in the midst of this pandemic. Thank you guys for watching. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And happy Mother's Day this Sunday. Fellas, that was your 6-day warning PSA. Mother's Day coming up this Sunday. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you all next week.